हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। हरि गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद जय शील प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद जय शील प्रभुपाद। श्री श्री राधा दामोदर भगवान की, जगत गुरु शील प्रभुपाद की, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की। हरे कृष्णा। नम जय ओम विष्णुपाद परहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमति डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमति इस डिवाइन ग्रेस शील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवतु नैष्टिकीम्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter number 4, verse number 46. Tapo me hridayam brahmam tanor vidya krita kriti, tanor vidya krita kriti, अंगानि कृतवो जाता धर्म आत्मा सवासुरा। तपो मे हृदयं ब्रह्मं तनोर्विद्या कृता कृति, अंगानि कृतवो जाता धर्म आत्मा सवासुरा। तपो मे हृदयं ब्रह्मं तनोर्विद्या कृता कृति, अंगानि कृतवो जाता धर्म आत्मा सवासुरा। तपो मे हृदयं ब्रह्म तनोर्विद्या क्रियाकृति अंगानि कृतवो जाता धर्म आत्मा सवासुरा तमो मे हृदयं ब्रह्मम् तनोर्विद्या क्रियाकृति अंगानि कृतवो जाता आत्मा सुवासुरा तपो मे हृदयं ब्रह्म तनोर्विद्या क्रियाकृति अंगानि कृतवो जाता अयम आत्मा सवासुरा तप austerities like mind control, mystic yoga, and meditation may my hridayam, heart, Brahman, O Brahmana, Tanu, the body, Vidya, the knowledge derived from the Vedic scriptures, Kriya, spiritual activities, Akriti, form, Angani, the limbs of the body, Kritavaha, the ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices mentioned in the Vedic literature. Jatha, completed, dharma, the religious principles for executing the ritualistic ceremonies. Atma, my soul. Asava, life heirs. Sura, the demigods who execute my orders in different departments of the material world. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear Brahmana, the austerities in the form of meditation is my heart. Vedic knowledge in the form of hymns and mantras constitutes my body. The spiritual activities and ecstatic emotions are my actual form. The ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices, when properly conducted, are the various limbs of my body. The unseen good fortune proceeding from pious or spiritual activities constitutes my mind, and the demigods who execute my orders in various departments are my life and soul. Purport. Sometimes atheists argue that since God is invisible to their eyes, they do not believe in God. From them, the Supreme Lord is described, for them, the Supreme Lord is describing a method by which one can see God in his impersonal form. Intelligent persons can see God in his personal form as stated in the Shastras. But if one is very eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately face to face, he can see the Supreme Lord through his description, which portrays the various internal and external parts of his body. To engage in tapasya or denial of material activities is the first principle of spiritual life. There are spiritual activities such as the performance of Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, study of the Vedic knowledge, meditation upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. one should also respect the demigods and understand how they are situated, how they act, and how they manage the activities of the various departments of the material world. In this way, one can see how God is existing and how everything is managed perfectly because of the presence of Supreme Lord. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate chacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. The material nature is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and non-moving beings. By its rule, this manifestation of creation and annihilated again and again. If one is unable to see the Supreme Lord, although he is present as Krishna in his various incarnations, one may see the Supreme Lord impersonal feature according to the direction of the Vedas by seeing the activities of the material nature. Anything done under the direction of Vedic injunctions is called dharma, as described by the order carriers of Yamaraja, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.40. That which is prescribed in the Vedas constitutes dharma, the religious principles, and the opposite of that is irreligion. The Vedas are directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, and are self-born. This we have heard from the Yamaraja. In connection to this, Srila Madhvacharya comments, the various demigods are acting under the protection of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and according to their various actions, the demigods are differently named. We are also reading the 47th verse today. So let us read the purport of 47th translation and the purport. Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 6, canto number 6, chapter number 4, verse number 47. Before the creation of this cosmic manifestation, I alone existed, and with my specific spiritual potencies, consciousness was then unmanifested, just as one's consciousness is unmanifested during the time of the sleep. Purport. The word aham indicates a person. As explained in the Vedas, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam, the Lord is the supreme eternal among the innumerable eternals and the supreme living being among the innumerable living beings. The Lord is the person who also has an impersonal features. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11, the learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance as Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. The consideration of Paramatma and the impersonal Brahman arose after the creation. Before the creation, only Supreme Personality of Godhead existed, as firmly declared in the Bhagavad Gita 18.55. The Lord can be understood only by Bhakti Yoga. The ultimate cause, the supreme cause of creation, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can be understood only by Bhakti Yoga. He cannot be understood by speculative philosophical research or by meditation. Since all such processes came into existence after the material creation, the impersonal and the localized conceptions of Supreme Lord are more or less materially contaminated. The real spiritual progress, therefore, is Bhakti Yoga. As Lord says, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only by devotional service can I be understood? Before the creation, the Lord existed as a person, as indicated here by the word aham. When Prajapati Daksha saw him as a person who was beautifully dressed and ornamented, he actually experienced the meaning of the word aham through devotional service. Each person is eternal because the Lord says that he existed as a person before the creation and will also exist after annihilation. The Lord is a person eternally. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore quotes these verses from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.13 to 14. The personality of Godhead appeared in Vrindavan as the son of Mother Yashoda, who bound the rod with rope, just as an ordinary mother binds the material child. There are actually no divisions of external and internal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchid Ananda. But when he appears in his own form, the unintelligent think him to be an ordinary person. Avajananti mammuda manusham tanumashritaha. Although he comes in his own body, which never changes, Moodas, the unintelligent, think that the impersonal Brahman has assumed a material body to come in the form of a person. Ordinary living beings assume material bodies, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Consciousness, it is stated here in this mantra, the original consciousness, Krishna consciousness, was unmanifested before the creation. Although the consciousness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin of everything. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 2.12, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you or all these kings, nor the further shall any of us cease to be. Thus, the Lord's person is the absolute truth in the past, present, and future. In this regard, Madhvacharya quotes two verses from the Mastya Purana, which states, after the annihilation of everything, the Supreme Lord, because of his Sachidananda Vigraha, remains in his original form. But since the other living entities have material bodies, the matter merges into matter, and the subtle form of the spirit soul remains within the body of the Lord. The Lord does not sleep, but the ordinary living entity remains asleep until the next creation. An unintelligent person thinks that the opulence of Supreme Lord is non-existent after the annihilation, but that is not the fact. The opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead remains as it is in the spiritual world. Only in the material world, everything is dissolved. Brahma Leena, merging into the Supreme Brahman, is not actual Leena or annihilation. For subtle form remaining in the Brahman effulgence will return to the material world after the material creation and again assume a material form. This is described as the Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. When the material body is annihilated, the spiritual soul remains in a subtle form, which later assumes a material body. That is true for the conditioned souls, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead remains eternally in its original consciousness and spiritual body. Hare Krishna. So, today we have such very nice long purports by Srila Prabhupada. Let us offer our prayers and then see. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshuram Nilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य अमिने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनीश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणम् हरे कृष्णा So when I was giving the last Srimad Bhagavatam class, I told we will see you after few months. And then yesterday Prabhuji was telling me, you see, you told few months, but you came back in 1.5 months. So it is a great fortune to be back again at Govardhan Eco Village by Radha Vrindavan Bihari's Causeless Mercy. We are here with a group of around 160 plus devotees coming here for 4 days. So yesterday when Radha Madan Gopal Prabhu called me and told me to do this service, I was a little bit hesitant in the heart because I was thinking I may not be able to do justice at some place. So somehow we found some time to do this seva. So this is exactly coinciding with the prasadam timing of our group. So that's why I couldn't make it here. Um, so yes, here in this two verses, the Hamsa Guhya prayers, in the 46th verse, here Srila Prabhupada has given this beautiful two long big purports, in which in the first statement he says, sometimes atheists argue since Lord is invisible to their eyes, they do not believe it. Like if somebody says that I am hungry, please give us prasad. If the class get extended, then people may say, Prabhuji, please stop the class, we are hungry, please give us some prasad. So if I ask, if you show your hunger only, then I will leave you. How will we show our hunger? Anybody can show our hunger? Prabhuji, we cannot show, it just has to be experienced. Krishna consciousness it is also about experience rather than seeing things. It is everything in Krishna consciousness is realized through our experience. Like we give this example to all the devotees. How much ever we describe about a place or a thing, unless and until you come and taste it, unless and until you come and experience it, you will not be able to realize what's happening there. All these years in GV, I have been showing all our devotees online every day, different places in GV. So for the first time when they came here and they exactly saw, yesterday I was asking them, how are you finding the experience from online and offline? They said it is hundreds and thousands of percentage more better than what you were showing online. So yesterday I was giving them this example of how what the product which we see online and what comes to our hand is quite different. Sometimes we may be cheated in online shopping. But Krishna consciousness, whatever we hear, if we practice sincerely, the realizations of Krishna consciousness give us nourishment. But a devotee has to be sincere and serious in practicing the process of Krishna consciousness. So that's why here Srila Prabhupada is giving the example of an atheist. So recently I was in Hastinapur, Delhi, and I was telling our devotees also, I was staying in a devotee house, Damodar Kirtana Prabhu and Nitya Lalita Devi Mataji. And they were serving me very nice prasad, Punjabi prasad. And I was asking them, Mataji, how did you come to Krishna consciousness? This is one question when devotees meet, we ask each other and we get inspiration from each other's Krishna conscious journey. And one amazing thing happened in the morning, when Prabhuji was taking me through Delhi in metro, he was telling me, he was praising Mataji. Was telling Prabhuji, I am able to do devotional service just because of my Mataji's support. Like that Prabhuji was telling. So then I was telling this to Mataji. And Mataji told me, no, Prabhuji, I am able to practice Krishna consciousness because of my Prabhuji's support. Like that she said. I said, wonderful family this is. Both of you are encouraging and appreciating each other. This is a sign of a very nice Grihastha life. And then Mataji said, Prabhuji, my Prabhuji tolerated me and introduced me to Krishna consciousness. So I said, Mataji, what is your story? And what she said actually shocked me so much. She is a Sanskrit teacher and she did her PhD in Nirishwaravad. She did her PhD from Sanskrit literature in atheism. And she's teaching Sanskrit. And I said, when she had done PhD in atheism, I said, Mataji, what transformed you? I would want to hear. Now, please tell us your story. And she was telling, Prabhuji, in our home, my parents never worshipped the Lord. We did not have any photo. I did not know. We never went to the temple. We never did any puja. We do not know anything in the house. We belong to a society called Deva Samaj, and the person who has established it, we just have his photo and we do not do any puja. So from that background I came, and she was telling, from my 7th class, I had decided that I am going to study atheism in detail and I am going to preach atheism. I said, Mataji, who is your first counselee? Said, who other than my husband? When I got married, the first person I preached is my husband. And I said, Mataji, what happened to your husband? Was he hearing you? He said, yes, Prabhuji, my preaching was successful. He was leaving one photo after the another, one photo after another from his house. And he stopped all the things which he was doing in his childhood. And I was successful in my preaching career. And one fine day, my Prabhuji went to some office training, and there he met a devotee from Mumbai who belongs to our Radha Gopinath congregation. And that devotee was also training, and he was teaching some classes. And after he gave his seminar, he sang the Hare Krishna Mahamantra after his presentation. So this devotee was so much captivated by the singing of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He went and asked this person, what is that you sang? He said, this is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Please chant one round. So he gave him the beads and he took him to his house and gave him some prasad. And this devotee goes back to the house and says, Mataji, I have got this, not Mataji, of course, whatever, I have got these beads from today, I'm going to chant. Mataji was saying, she was thinking, who is this person who is putting breakers in my preaching? And he said, no chanting. I told you so many years that there is no Krishna, no Ram. Don't do this thing again. So then Prabhuji was telling that he would secretly chant in his bag while going to his office. And one day, this devotee said, please start wearing dhoti kurta and stop onion garlic in your house. So when this person went and told, from today, no onions and garlic in the house, she complained to her father-in-law. He's saying, you got married saying that we were going to enter Grihasthashram, but this fellow is going towards Sannyasashram. Please save him and please save from the clutches of these devotees. So then his father-in-law counseled her, and then him and Prabhuji, and then they changed. And at one moment I asked, Mataji, everything is going in your favor, but when did you turn? Then Mataji said that my Prabhuji got a book of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and kept on the bedside. For months together, I would clean my house, remove the Bhagavad Gita, clean the rack, and put the Bhagavad Gita there. But one fine day, I was sleeping and I was not very sleepy. So I thought, let me just read what it is there in this book. And she took Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and started reading page by page by page. And after 2 days, she asked her husband, can you bring the photo of the person who wrote this book? So he bought one Srila Prabhupada's photo and she placed it right in front of her bed. It is still there after 22 years. The Prabhupada's photo which she bought is still there in their next to their bed. And Mataji finished Bhagavad Gita, and after she finished Bhagavad Gita, she threw the onion garlic out of their house, and she got a mala to chant every day 4 rounds, and this was in the year 2001. And now she is an initiated disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, doing chanting and also her services to the deities and also preaching Krishna consciousness. Just by the association of one devotee and just by reading Srila Prabhupada's book, an atheist, we get so many atheists. Everybody says, I don't believe in God. I told Mataji, you come and preach to these atheists and ask them questions. What do you know about atheism? Most of them cannot answer actually. Why don't you believe in God? She did PhD. I said, you should definitely come to our preaching sometime. Somebody who has done PhD in atheism got transformed by just reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And what will happen to the devotees who have so much love and dedication? What will happen to them who will read Srila Prabhupada's books very dedicatedly and very submissively? What kind of transformation can that bring in the lives of the devotees? So it should be this experience which Srila Prabhupada is telling here. Here Srila Prabhupada says in this line, you see, intelligent persons can see God in his personal form as stated in the Shastras. But if one is very eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately face to face, he can see the Supreme Lord through his description. So when yesterday we were hearing the class by Sanat Kumar Prabhu, and when Sanat Kumar Prabhu was saying that Hiranyakashipu asked, where is your Lord? And Prahalad says, wherever you see, you find him. Wherever you get the strength, same strength I also derived from. And there's description where he was giving about the jeweled pillar. When Prabhuji was saying, how many of you were visualizing the scene of Narsingadev's pillar and Narsingadev coming out? Just because of hearing the description, we immediately, our mind takes us to the personal form of the Lord. So many times we have heard. How many ever times we hear the same descriptions, the same experience we get when we hear and read about the descriptions of the Lord. So that is most important. Only the understanding of spiritual life can give happiness in reality. I was in Australia recently, and one person was driving me, and I was asking him how they have migrated from India. So I was asking, how is the life here? He said, amazing. Everything is so wonderful here. The medical facility is completely free. The education is completely free. Nobody honks and on you. I have all my 15 days stay in Australia. I have not even heard one vehicle sound also. Not even one. So I said, so nice, so peaceful, everything is fine. But how are the people here? He said 70% of them have mental health issues. How much percent? 70% of them, and it is raising. Still the mental health issues are raising there in Australia. Then I asked, what religion do they follow here? I asked. So he said, Prabhuji, most of them have no religion at all. They have no concept of religion. And then this devotee was telling me that this makes us easy to preach. In the entire trip, one time I traveled in taxi. He was a very elderly man, about an age of 50, 55. So he saw in my saffron dress, and he said, you seem to be a spiritual person. Are you something related? Have you monk or something like that? He asked. Yes, I said yes. Then he said, actually, I have 7 children, and I have recently got divorced from my wife last year, he said. Oh, then I said, I'm so sorry. Then he said, I have been looking forward for something spiritual after my divorce, he was telling. So I said, okay, then what are you doing? Then did you practice any spirituality from your childhood? Like that I asked. So he said, no, actually, I was not exposed to any religion, any spirituality. So I don't know anything. But after these problems happened in my life, I have been studying Christianity very much, he said. So I said, we also have some religion to offer. This is called the Hare Krishna temple. You can come here whenever you want. So he said, yes, definitely I'll come. And he took the temple address. And next day he came to the temple. And then I was asking, how did you like the experience there? He said, very amazing. If I would have known this from childhood, I would have definitely taken to this. I was talking to one Chinese family. They said, I asked them, why did you migrate here? He said, because in my country, we cannot live peacefully. I asked, don't you have any religion? They said, no religion. And there are churches and Buddhist temples, but it is more difficult to enter a temple than to enter any other place in our country. So then I asked the Chinese family, are you comfortable here staying? He said, yes, my son is going to the church every day. We want to introduce them to some spiritual and religious aspect. So we gave them the temple address of Adelaide Temple, Radha Shyamasundar Mandir, and they came to the temple also there, and they enjoyed prasad very nicely, and they enjoyed kirtan very nicely. So our process is such simple process. Our process is such divine process. It is so easy to practice. Susukam kartum avyayam. I was telling all our devotees who were shy yesterday in dancing in Guru Puja. I said, you have two ways to realize God. One thing is you dance before the Lord, or stand in the hot sun and do tapasya. What is best? He said, no, Prabhuji, we will not stand in the hot sun. Better we will dance in the kirtan. And then yesterday in the evening, everybody were dancing very enthusiastically. So our process is very simple, very sublime. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have got it in such a sublime way. So here next, Srila Prabhupada in the purport says, to engage in tapasya or the denial of material activities is the first principle of spiritual life. Here Prabhupada is telling about performance of sacrifices, Vedic ritualistic activities. Just before coming to Mumbai, I went to Chinnajiyar Swami's ashram in Hyderabad because they were having a festival and they had invited us. So when we were walking in the campus, we were all sweating because of the hot sun at 11 o'clock. So Swamiji was telling, because nobody is giving arghya to Surya Dev, he is taking himself everything, he was telling. Because now we have stopped giving argyas, we have stopped doing yajnas. So the nature is forcefully taking what it has to get. But if everybody is doing their prescribed duties, everybody is doing their prescribed spiritual practices. Here Srila Prabhupada is saying about the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this age of Kali Yuga, the spiritual practice is yajnanam japa yajnosmi. If everybody does their part of dharmic contributions to the society and also practice their own spiritual life, there will be no problem, there will be no imbalance. Because the entire problem is we are just taking and not giving back. And then Swamiji said, one good thing with the Surya is how much ever he takes back, he gives back. Not like the people of this world, he was telling. In this world, people just want to take, but do not want to give back. People want to collect taxes, but do some scam and take all the money. So, but Lord's system is not like that. When we give, we get. We get in so much returns actually when we give to the God. And then in the next part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is telling that the various demigods are all acting under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to various actions, the demigods are differently named. This is one of the biggest question which everybody asks me wherever we go in any TV interview. Why do you criticize Devatas? People have this notion that Vaishnavas criticize Devatas. But what Srila Prabhupada is writing here, demigods are all doing their part. And we should know that we have to respect them. If there is some senior devotee in the temple who is doing great service, we offer our pranams to him. Exactly in the same way, Krishna has appointed various devotees who have been doing their service in the part of a big creation. So everybody has to respect them. That is what Srila Prabhupada is writing also here. And they are named differently according to their various actions. Like many of the people think Indra is a person, but we know that Indra is a post. Who gets the post of Indra? Yeah, 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices. Who performs? They come into the post of Indra. And after that post is done, after the tenure is done, then they have elections again. No, they do not have elections. They are selected in one way. Wherever Lord finds that he is eligible, he is kept in that position. How many of you have done your voting this elections? Very good, very nice. All the devotees should vote. That is one inspiration which Audarya Chaitanya Prabhu had given me just day before yesterday. So I was in a place called Adilabad and I traveled 6 hours to just give one vote and then go to the programs. So it is very important to have an Krishna conscious leader who is striving for the dharma, and because in their protection we can also practice Krishna consciousness very nicely. Yeah. And in the 47th text, Srila Prabhupada is saying, the word aham indicates a person. As explained in the Vedas, nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam. The Lord is a person. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. A mother, she asks her 3 children, Arey, something called train is coming to our town for the first time. I want to understand how does it look, what does it do? Can you all 3 go and find out how does it train function and tell me? So all the 3 children go to the railway station. They stand there, and as soon as train starts coming in the night, one child immediately runs to the house and he says, Mother, mother, train is a light, light is coming from very far distance. The second son, he still waits and sees for some more time. And second person sees some driver sitting in the train. And then he runs back. He says, no, train is not only light, he is also a person. Small person is there under the light. And the third person still waits for a longer time. And he sees that the train is coming, train has stopped, people are sitting, some are eating, some are talking to each other, some are busy on the mobile phones. He sees everything and he comes and tells mother, train is not light, train is not only light, train is not only a person, but train is complete big row of bogies with so many people in it, so many activities going on, and so much sound and everything. So some people see the God or the reality as light, that is called Brahman. And some yogis, they realize the spiritual truth as a person in the heart called Paramatma. But only a bhakta can realize Bhagavan in his true nature. That is, in a personal form. Ishvara, Parama Krishna, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So Lord is not only impersonal light, Lord is not only Paramatma, but Lord in his absolute features with his Shaktis and with his beauty is called Bhagavan. Once, Shankaracharya, he was in Kashi. So he has written in his Bhashya that Lord has no energies, Lord has no form, Lord has no gunas, Lord has nothing. He's just Nirakara, Niranjana, Nirvikara, Nirvikalpa. So he saw a person, a Mataji, and a dead body on his way towards the ghats of Ganges. So he says, Oh Mata, I have to go to the Ganges. Can you please move this body aside? So this lady says, I cannot move. Tell him to move himself. So Shankaracharya says, Are, how will a dead man move? He has no Shakti. He cannot move. You have energy, so you move this person. He says, No. You move this. You tell him to move and he will move. So Shankaracharya says, Mother, how is this possible? How can this dead man move? So then that lady who had this dead body on her lap says, if there is no Shakti, they cannot move. And you say that the Lord has no Shakti, then how will he do the work of creation, maintenance, and destruction? So then he understands that what I have written, without Shakti, there is no movement. So Lord is not without his energies, Lord is with his energies. And then he gets this realization. And then he takes bath in the Ganges and he goes to the Shivalinga. How many of you have been to Varanasi? Okay. Some devotees have been to Varanasi, and the people stand in the queues and do the Abhishekam. And then when Shankaracharya was doing Abhishekam, he was thinking, Are, I have told Lord that he has no qualities, but I am singing the glories of. I was coming back in Thailand, I met a person. He was telling me that, Sir, you say about form, but actually Lord does not have form. And then he was giving me, what, Praman? Shivaling has no form, Shaligram has no form. He was telling me. Then I told, Acha, Shivaling has no form and Shaligram has no form. What prayer do you offer to your Shiva? I asked him. So he was telling, Karpura Gauram Karunavataram. Said, Karpura Gauram, what does Karpura Gauram mean? Said, white complexion, sir. Oh, so you are telling white complexion, Bhujaghendraharam, Sada Vasantam, Hridayara Vinde, Bhavam, Bhavani, Sahitam Navami. All this is not description of your Lord. Then he said, okay. Yeah, we are telling that he has no form, but what we are praying is to a form of Lord Shiva. And people say that Shaligram has no form, but today is a day when a Lord with all his personal features and beauty has appeared from her Shaligram to fulfill the desire of his devotee Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Today is the appearance of Radha Ramanji. Radha Raman Lal ki. See? So Lord is complete. That's why Gopal Bhatta Goswami was not satisfied. Na? He was feeling when the Chandan is applied, you see when the Vasudev ji and Madan Gopal ji's Chandan is applied in Braj, they say he was looking like a pakoda in the kadi when all the Chandan is applied on all the shaligrams. So he was not feeling any rasa. He was telling, Are, every person is so nicely decorating. Madan Mohan ji is so beautiful. Damodar ji is so beautiful. See, Damodar ji is so extremely beautiful. In Vrindavan, you see the beautiful painting which they offer to Sham Sundar, the detailed painting which they do to the Sri Angas of the Lord. Govindaji, Gopinathji, and I have this Shaligram. And he prayed, Prabhuji, please manifest in your form in which I can serve you personally. And on the night of Narsingha Chaturdasi appeared the most beautiful deity in Vraja, Shri Radha Raman Lal. So Lord is complete in his features. Lord is complete in his personal form. And when we look forward for it, when we pray for it, he manifests that in such a way. Like if you see any temple, any ancient temple in India, they have such beautiful deities of Krishna. Have you seen any temple with no deity? Nowadays, they are making temples like that. I have heard just day before yesterday that they have built a temple with 700 crores of rupees in Varanasi, I think. It's called Veda Mandir or something like that, and it has no deity at all. And one famous temple is there in Vrindavan. I will not tell the name, but such big, huge temple. But deities have plastic garlands, and deities are made of fiber. So the entire purpose of temple is lost when the deities are not served properly. And what experience our devotees are experiencing here at Govardhaniko village, everybody are not able to take their eyes off Radha Vrindavan Bihari ji here. Such beautiful Chandan Darshan yesterday. All the devotees had tears in their eyes when they were taking the darshan of Radha Vrindavan Bihari Ji. They have seen him online, but offline, for the first time, they are experiencing his mercy and his beauty. So a temple is the place where the deities are served very nicely. So the soul, will not be happy unless and until we serve the Lord in his most complete and personal form. What is the time now? It says 9:07 here. Okay, 9:01. So the purports are very big for this verses, and we have so many things to say from the wonderful writings which Srila Prabhupada gave in this purports. But because our class is only for 1 hour, we are ending here with few uh, small argya to Ganges. Like that, we have done this service of the huge purports of Srila Prabhupada. We could just do some small offerings to the wonderful writings. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki. Anybody has some questions?